Live. Hello, hello, hello. Live stream numero 7 of Creative Project Workshop. Oh, baby. Say hello to Peter. Let people trickle in. Hello, hello, hello. I watched Rick Rubin's episode on what's his name, Lewis something, his podcast. I want to talk about some things that I took away from that interview, some things I resonated with. I would like to share them today. Today was a big today was a week spent mostly with family since my brother just got discharged from the hospital. So I've been let's see if okay, Peter's taking over the stream, looks like. Peter, they're just looking at your coat. They're just looking at your coat, baby. Yeah, it's mostly time with family. It's my brother's back home, celebrating that after being in the hospital for a month. And yeah, spending more time focusing on harnessing my creative energy. Focus on intentionally noticing when the energy to create comes up and acting on it. And I think that's a big part of the journey is noticing when inspiration strikes, or not even inspiration, not an inspiration for a specific idea, like, oh, I have this idea for this story or this song, but more so just like a calling to create, like a feeling inside to create and acting on that, and the importance of that. And not suppressing that, not not listening to it. You know, because we can kind of fill in the noise, or we can fill in the noise, or we can ignore that call, or we can, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not suppress. It's kind of just stuff it down, I guess, with something else, or find another thing, um like watch things on the internet, um or consume things when that energy to create comes up. I think it can be dangerous to just throw that away. Um, so focusing on harnessing that, cultivating a conscious relationship. Things that have been on my mind this week, more specifically. But yeah, so actually go into. Let me just go in because I took down a lot of notes from this interview with Rick Rubin. If you guys don't know Rick Rubin, he's a music producer. I'm not too familiar with his work, although apparently he's worked on a lot of stuff before, so I'm sure I've listened to a lot of the songs that he's produced. The Strokes, I know he helped the Strokes with one of their albums, which I forget the name of their album, but I love that album. I love the Strokes music. They are incredible. Huge music inspiration for me. If you guys haven't listened to the Strokes stuff, you should. Okay, so this is basically like a lot of the notes that I took on that video. So it's funny, a lot of my content, the most common person or artist that gets brought up in my comment section is Rick Rubin, because people say that a lot of the ideas that I talk about are similar to the ones that he talks about. And again, I'm not too familiar with Rick Rubin's work besides The Strokes, and again, I'm sure a lot of other music that I'm just not aware that he's worked on. The Creative Act I've wanted to read for a while. I just don't have the book. I read the first couple chapters or so in a Target, I remember once. And that book is incredible. Like, from what I've read, it's incredible. Just the poetry and everything. And the way he talks about creativity and the creative spirit and about existence itself, I can see why everyone brings him up a lot in my comment section. But yeah, so I did sit down and kind of watched an interview with him. Um, Something that he actually he brought up something that I've said before in one of my recent reels, or YouTube shorts slash Instagram reels, short form videos, is that when you're deciding when you're trying to make a creative decision in the creative process, if you're working on something, a creative work, a creative project, then kind of just ask yourself, if you can't decide or you feel stuck, ask yourself, what do I like the most? And you think about, when you like something, when you like a movie, or you like a song, or you like a food, it doesn't take effort to like that thing. It's just natural. It's just an automatic thing. It's a given, and it's tapping into something that's very natural and innate within us. It's connected to that creative spirit, and listening to that voice, as Peter walks across my screen, listening to that voice of taste and of what you like is listening to the creative spirit. And that's something that Rick Rubin talked about in this interview. He said that, I wrote down quotes, "This is what tastes good to me." So this is what tastes good to me. And again, you think about a food or a drink, tasting, liking something, it's not effort. It's effortless. And that's how the creative process, how we should aim for it to be, tapping into that innate automatic kind of response of, yeah, this is good. I like this. This tastes good. And it takes off that pressure of needing to rationalize everything, and needing to know how something should be perfect. Um, and yeah, I love that idea. I love that concept. I love that way of looking at creativity. I would love that way of looking at how you should make creative decisions, because again, it takes off pressure, and it really gets to the core and root of what's really most important and what's actually at work when we create great art, which is tapping into that creative spirit. So that's something that I really resonated with, something that I loved. Um, yeah, what's more important, to please them or to win? That's what he says, Rick Rubin. He says, "What's more important with your art? Is it to please them, or is it to win?" And you think about winning. When you think about winning with creativity and winning with our art, you know, what do we think about? I think about at least making the best piece of art according to what the piece of art is meant to become. And winning that battle is not the same as pleasing people in the world, or pleasing the exterior voices. And sometimes we go about the creative process and we go about our work with almost a subconscious desire to please someone who will experience our art, or someone who will take in our piece of art. But I think the best way to please the people who are meant to be pleased by our work is to win the battle of making the best piece of work, which you have to do without thinking about other people. So it's almost ironic in that way. Um, but yeah, so how do you win with your art? How do you win with your creativity? It's by honoring the creativity. It's by honoring the creative act, by honoring what the piece of art is meant to become. And that's the true battle to fight and to win. Because there's certain battles you can take on. You can take on the battle of pleasing, or the battle of for the art itself. Um, and so yeah, you can either you can decide what's more important to you, to please them or to win. Um, and again, it can be subconscious, like, oh, in order to win, I need to please them. But no, you either please them or you win. Um, and by winning, consequently, you actually can please the people who are meant to be pleased by your work. Um, Yo, David, what's going on? How you doing? Have you ever read Steal Like an Artist? Just bought it and I want to know your opinion if you have one. If you don't, just recommend me a good book about film. Ooh, recommend me a good book about film. Um, I have not read Steal Like an Artist. I've heard of that book many times. Is that the same? I believe it's the same author as um the book Share Your Work, which I've listened to the audiobook of that and I really liked that. I would recommend people to read that or listen to that audiobook, I guess. Share Your Work. if that's the same author, because that talks about documenting the process and sharing the process with the world of your creativity and of your art. And obviously, I'm big on that. Um, but yeah, steal like an artist. I mean, that kind of concept. Um, I guess the thing that comes up for me is inspiration and creativity, inspiration and create in artwork. And when I think about inspiration, I think about a quote that is, I'm not sure who it's from, but the quote, Julia Cameron uses the quote in her book, The Artist's Way, which actually the artist, oh, okay, it is the same author. Nice, nice. Um, yeah, share your work is great. I really like that audiobook. The Artist's Way, I would recommend that book. It's not specifically about film, but I would say that, at the end of the day, film is creativity and art at its core. So, I think any book on creativity or art is going to help your filmography. Um, I think the most important thing, if you're an artist, whether you're a dancer or a poet or a filmmaker, it's harnessing the stories and the ideas that the creative spirit sends you, and ultimately that's more important, I think, than any technicality within filmmaking. I think that's going to drive and create the foundation for all of the technicalities and technical skills that you need to make a film. The most important thing is story and ideas and creativity. So I would say read The Artist's Way. I think that's a great one. I'm also reading Creativity as Action or as an Action by Michael Gelb, um, which talks a lot about physicality and spirituality of creativity. Um, Peter. Peter loves the laptop. Um, Talks a lot about breath work and physical exercises. Um, I think similar to Tai Chi, I believe is the name. Um, and that is something I'm reading now, which is really nice. And I'm currently working on the exercises from that book. So I'd say check that out if that sounds like it might resonate. Um, but yeah, the steal like an artist concept again, I think it's similar to, or the quote that I was going to mention is it has to do with inspiration is a form of superconscious, the super consciousness. The super conscious is the collective of individual consciousness is consciousnesses. Is consciousnesses a plural word? Um, so you think about the sort of matrix that connects us as individual souls and the matrix that makes up our own emotional and human and soul connections. It's the reason why we resonate with art. Some other person on this planet can make a piece of art and then I can be emotionally affected by that. And then there's a connection and a reaction within the super consciousness of the world. And inspiration, you see something that inspires you in some way, either for your art or something else in your life, and that's a sort of chemical spiritual reaction happening within the superconscious. And I think that that looking at inspiration and this sort of spiritual lens, um, you can see that certain pieces of art and certain things that you see in the world are meant to trigger you and inspire you in the way that it comes off to you. And so the way I use that in my creative process, the way I'm using it actually right now with the script that I'm working on right now, is I'm working on a story and I'm thinking about different inspirations. I'm thinking about actually, let me get. So the script I'm working on right now, I I've been making mood boards, slideshows, mood boards, and just images, collages of images that are inspiring the script and story, and images that resonate with the style and tone. And I made a mood board of a bunch of movies that are inspiring the story. Or I don't even know if inspiring the story is the right word, but the story that I'm writing, it makes me think of these other movies. So maybe an inspiration in the reverse. But anyway, so now because these movies are coming up, I'm thinking of them like, oh, this story that I'm writing is kind of like I want it to feel like this part from this movie. And then I went through my Blu-ray collection. I just tried to look for any movies that I had from that list that I made on my mood board of inspiring movies. Being John Malkovich by Charlie Kaufman. Charlie Kaufman, the script I'm working on right now is very Kaufman-esque, very Charlie Kaufman. Moon. I've seen Being John Malkovich. That was a great movie. I haven't seen Moon. Brazil, I've seen a couple times and it's awesome. So I'm going to rewatch it again. And The Truman Show, which is a classic. And so like all these movies, and there's a bunch more on my mood boards. But all these are I would say inspirations or working inspirations for my script. So I'm going back and I'm reading them. We're reading them, watching them, and I'm taking down notes of things that just come up intuitively. Um, and I guess that's the way I would look at stealing like an artist. That concept that I think about when I think about inspiration and stealing like an artist, is yeah, steal ideas that come up, I guess, as you're experiencing other art. I always say that going back to the idea of liking something, liking a certain food or liking a drink or liking a piece of art is effortless. It's for me, it's effortless to love the Truman Show. I just love it. It doesn't take effort to like it. And so your inspirations, the thing that you love, they are indicative of your unique creative spirit, your unique creative style, your unique artistic fingerprint in this world. And you can look at the things that are effortless, the things that you love effortlessly. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that inspiration, stealing like an artist, is just you looking at the things that you love and using that in the ways that they're meant to. Um, yeah, and there's straight up like a bunch of things from my story and script that I notice are very similar to a lot of parts in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I kinda just lean into it. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is cool. This is kinda like that one scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm gonna make it even more like it, or I'm gonna use it as even more inspiration." I think that's cool. There's certain archetypes within art that are there for a reason. Um the hero's journey, um, or you look at certain story structures and screenplays and art, and I think they're there for a reason. It's because certain souls resonate with them over time. There's a reason for it. And I think that's why you can use rules to help you, but a rule should never transcend your intuition. And at the end of the day, if it feels right, you go with it. And yeah, that's the way I look at inspiration. That's the way I look at, I guess, that concept of stealing like an artist. Again, I haven't read it, but that's what it makes me think about. Um, but yeah, I will likely read it at some point. Do you have a reading, guess you could say, ritual or habit for like creativity, like art? Do you mean? Um, Ritual or habit? Because I'm thinking of I don't know, rituals or habits that I do within creativity or art. I want to get back into meditation. Meditation, actually, it's something else I wrote down from Rick Rubin's interview videos that he goes through phases with meditation. Right now, I'm going through phases with meditation. I haven't done meditation actually. It's been a couple months. It's been a few months, but I want to get back into it regularly because I used to do it very regularly, and it was a great method of downloading ideas for my art or just life in general, incredible insights and access and wisdom within. So I want to get back into that. Um, but also I've done other forms of meditation, like I will do small meditations outside when it feels right, when I'm outside during the day, just closing my eyes, taking some deep breaths for like 10 minutes, and then just seeing things so vividly. Man, it's crazy. Um, yeah, when you go outside in silence and just close your eyes for like 10 minutes, take some deep breaths. That's it. You don't have to meditation doesn't have to be some kind of hard idea in your head. Because I noticed I do that with myself. And I think that's also why I haven't done it in a few months, because sometimes it just feels like this thing, like, oh, this thing I have to do, this action. But it's very simple. Actually, just look at meditation as doing nothing for a little while, just doing nothing, not attaching to any thoughts, just being still. That's all. But doing nothing can be tough when you're programmed to do a lot or programmed to do other things throughout your life. So, yeah, it's almost like a reprogramming sort of thing. Truman Show's top 3 favorite films ever. Nice. Truman Show's amazing. Truman Show is, man. Yeah, no, this is definitely very, very much inspirational for the script I'm working on right now. So there's so many. Once the film's out, guys, you'll see why. But yeah, no, Truman Show is, I watched it a few times a few years ago. It's been a while, so I'm excited to rewatch it. Um, but yeah, I think there's a sort of magicalness of Truman Show that's like it's almost like a Spielberg feeling of magic that's in that film that penetrates each scene. It's really great. That film is something else. for my country now, 2:20 a.m. Wow, oh my gosh, thank you for joining the stream. Finally able to watch in real time. I'm happy you're here. Thank you so much for joining. Wow, wow, wow. 2:20 a.m. Dang. I was up since till 1 a.m. last night. I was watching the fight, the Jake Paul and Tyson fight. I was watching it with family. Um, yeah, it was a big money grab, obviously, but it was fun to watch with family. It was entertaining. Um, have you tried scrapbooking? I have not. I should do that. That sounds cool. Scrapbooking. What would you recommend doing? Do you do scrapbooking? And what would you recommend I do scrapbooking on? Because think about my own art, my own creativity, but also I think memories, right? Like memories of my life. I wanted to either put a photo album together or something like a scrapbook. I think something of photos of my life, moments, because I like to take pictures out in the world when I see something that reflects the sort of beauty that I see in the world, and I kind of just I keep it for myself. It reminds me that, wherever I go, it's where I'm meant to be. God has placed me here for a reason. And so every second is penetrated with just divine truth and divine planning and divine time. And like just this is a picture that I took in my grandma's house. And in that moment when I was looking at this picture on the wall in my grandma's house, I just felt like, wow. And I just felt a sense of beauty and awe and peace, and like I'm meant to be here right now in this moment. And I get that so many times when I'm out in the world, and it's true. I do believe that. And then when I'm reminded of it, it's like I get a glimpse of beauty. Um, and it happens more frequently as I tune into that awareness and I tune into that moment and I lean into that feeling that my soul gets. And yeah, I kind of want to put together. Oh, I guess like a scrapbook. Yeah. I guess a scrapbook of those images, maybe little messages on the side or something. Um, because it's funny. I think I see life is very short. Life um, is so short. It flies by. Um, it can feel very long. Um, uh, when you're in a place, maybe when you're in a place that you don't want to be, when you're in a state you don't want to be, um, and that's why we always talk about it. But because we only have one life here right now. We got to make the most of it, and make good decisions, and strive to create and build lives for ourselves that we actually genuinely enjoy, to work on things that spiritually fulfill us. And when you get in that state, when you're aligned with your soul, when you align your life with your soul and your soul's mission, then life then becomes great, and then it goes fast. And then but then slowing down, time feels slower when you slow down, and then you can enjoy the solitude and presence of your life. um, and I believe that life is short, and I believe that life is a memory. All of life is a memory. Like the soul had a dream, and this life is that dream. And everything in our life that happens, it's all written. It's all a memory that we're experiencing. And when you think about a memory, when you look at like a picture of when you were a kid, 5 years old, 4 years old, it's funny. It's weird when you look at an old picture, because it's like, okay, this is a memory, this is a moment in time, and all of this is certain, right? There's no change in the past. Um, and I believe that is the same thing about the future, where if you could look at a picture of you in 10, 20 years, it's like, wow, that's a memory. That's Nothing can change those events, that they're all written, so it's all guaranteed. And so what's left to do after that? What's left after all troubles and complexities are resolved? It's just to enjoy it, right? To enjoy life, to enjoy the memory. And yeah, I think that all of life is a memory, no matter where you're at right now in the present moment, wherever you're at in your life, the rest is certain. Now, this, of course, can conflict and can be mentally conflicting with the idea of, well, if everything's already certain and written, well, what's the point of trying? What's the point of change? And isn't that anti-change and that anti-desire to change or to create a better life for myself? And honestly, that's a mystery that I can't claim to have conscious answers of now. I think only God knows that. Um, because I believe I have some sort of free will. But ultimately, I think everything's already planned out. And I think that's beautiful, and it brings a lot of peace. But I think that's one of the mysteries, maybe, that humans aren't meant to have the answer to. Um, that everything is already written, but also you have free will. Maybe both things can exist. I don't know. But I do feel in my heart that when I align more with the truth that my life is planned out and my life is divinely guided. When I feel that and I truly implement that and integrate that way of viewing the world in my life into my everyday, I that mindset brings me towards the things that make my life better and brings me towards the work and the play and making right decisions. Um, and so you could say that remembering that your life is a memory, you then co-create a better life for yourself. Again, I don't really know um, what all those things look like on the way that God sees everything, but I don't think I need to know. The best thing that we can do is share ideas and how we see life in the world, and the best thing that I can do is share things that have helped me in my journey so far, not only as an artist but as a human. I think the more we can do that and have those conversations, the better of a world we'll be able to create. But yeah, we do need to create a better world. We have a collective responsibility for this planet, and one of the dangers that poses us now is not embracing our own life and confronting things in our life. Because as long as we don't confront our own life, we don't confront our collective life on this planet, um, and then we will forever be like in the Matrix, asleep, slaves to the agents. What are your top 3 or 5 or 1 favorite films ever? For me, it's number 3 is Truman Show, nice. 2, Back to the Future. I gotta watch Back to the Future. 1 is Social Network. Social Network, nice. Network is great. That's a great film. That's, yeah, great writing and directing. Fincher's amazing. Um, Top films that come to mind, number 1, 2001: A Space Odyssey. That film changed my life, completely revolutionized the way that I saw the world. It made me self-reflect, self-actualize. It made me see my life on this planet as since I was born, I've been collecting programs from the world, and so my thoughts and beliefs are all given to me, and now that I see that I've been programmed by the world and life around me, I can consciously now choose my beliefs, and it revolutionized the way I saw myself and the rest of the world, and I began to believe in different things and believe in new things that were aligned with what I truly felt was for the best for me and for the rest of the world and the planet. That film is incredible. I recommend you guys watch that. It's about evolution, space, cosmos, humans' relation to the universe, I think is what Kubrick describes it as. It's a great film. And yeah, it's revolutionary. I think it's the best film. It's the best film I've ever seen. Also the way that I have a whole analysis of it on my letterbox. My letterbox is Tozak, Tozak. If you want to check out my analysis, it's pretty long. The analysis is also on my blog, my newsletter, and my website. That links in my YouTube video descriptions. That video is insane, or that movie is insane. Um, yeah, number 1. Might be number 1 forever, who knows? Um, Other films, Mommy from 2014, French-Canadian film by Xavier Dolan. Um, incredible movie, amazing acting and writing. A Ghost Story, one of the most original films, I've ever seen. What's up, Peter? Peter's about to jump up here. And A Ghost Story, it's a meditation on time, a meditation on life, on love, on the sacredness of life and the sacredness of time. Super poetic. And then I'm thinking of Ended Things, Charlie Kaufman, another one of my favorites. Genius, just the writing, so original. And then that's based off a book. That's an adaptation of a book. But the way it's written into screenplay and the way you experience it as a viewer of the cinemas. Oh, it is something else, unlike anything I've ever seen. And then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, another Kaufman screenplay. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yeah, I would say those are my top 4. Um, yeah, yeah, basically doing journaling, but also Good Will Hunting. Yeah, that's up there. Basically doing journaling, but some pages like scrapbook, some like sketchbook too. Yeah, yeah. I guess I like to draw images of recently this year because I've been journaling for a while, but a few months ago I started drawing images with my journal entries as well, and I like that a lot. I think sometimes you get feelings and you want to journal about it, but an image or drawing something or drawing a shape or anything kind of makes it more accurate to what you're feeling inside, more accurate than words can kind of encapsulate. So yeah, I like that idea. I think yeah, I would. make me think I do wanna print out some photos. I've printed out photos before in CVS, images that resonate, images that I love, and they sit on my desk, and I really love them there, and they make me think a lot. They make me do a lot of deep thinking. You can make scrapbook digital if you want, your grandma's photos in it, make a wallpaper would be good too. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think I'll do that. Life is a maybe I'll call it the life is a memory scrapbook. That'd be nice. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, learning. Oh, thank you, June. Thank you. I'm happy, glad that it resonates. If it resonates, then it brings up something that's true within you, something that's true that you feel inside. So I'm happy that that resonates. Life is memories, and I actually believe life is pre-written plan. We just need to figure out what to do here. God would guide you how to get there. Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel. That's how I see life. And again, it's a weird thing. It's a weird can't make sense of the free will thing. At least me right now. And that's actually what the script that I'm writing is based off of, and that leads me to something else that I'll naturally segue to the notes I took from Rick Rubin's interview. I don't know where it is on here, but somewhere in here, he basically says um, that what you're feeling at the time is what the work needs to be. Um, oh, here he says, if you're feeling sad, making a sad song would be good. If you're feeling love and peace, then you're in the right frequency to create that kind of song. When you're in pain, you're yearning for change, and sometimes the energy of yearning for change can lead to really beautiful music. I think that's so great. And I think that's something that I has helped that helped me get clarity on why I was facing so much resistance writing a certain song that I've been writing recently. It's because I wasn't in that frequency anymore. And maybe I'll get there again. But you have to write what's authentic to you right now. You know, if you're not going through heartbreak and you try to force a heartbreak song, it might not feel right. Um, and similar to something else Tarantino was talking about in an interview decades ago that I was just watching the other night. Um, where he says that, you know, the when I'm if I'm performing a character in a play and the night of that performance when I'm on my way to the theater, I come in contact to some with someone and there's some kind of conversation or there's something that makes me feel a certain way, then I have to take that experience and put that into my performance that night on the stage. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's incredible. Like right now, the script that I'm writing, the things that I'm going through in my life, the things that I'm contemplating spiritually, the things that I'm experiencing in my physical life, they're all making its way into my script that I'm working on right now. Same thing with my music. This is also why I want to make Christmas music right now because I'm getting excited about Christmas. And so I'm feeling the energy of Christmas and Christmas music and festivity. I feel called to just put that into my music right now. But what are you going through in your life? You know, what are you feeling right now? What are the experiences that you're in your life? Are you in school right now? What kind of job are you in? What's your family situation? You know, what's your solitude situation? How's your relationship with yourself? What are the physical experiences and moments you're going through? What are the milestones that you're encountering? And how can this make itself? Not only how can this make itself find its way into your work, but how is it meant to find its way into your work? Because it's meant to. It really is. Um, you know, the and when I started when I started viewing my script this way, like, wow, this script that I'm working on right now is going to be a culmination of different things that I'm experiencing right now, then my eyes became so much more open to my everyday life. Because I realized, you know, there's inspiration all around, there's ideas all around, you know, the things that I'm going through, the conversations, the people that I'm meeting, the places that I'm going. It's all, you know, be open to it. You know, it can all be material. It's all meant to be material as well. Um, and I think that, you know, it's not just like, oh, you're just living your life to get ideas for your art. I think that maybe on some hand it is, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because you get to, you know, your art is your creation. It's your life's work. It is part of the beauty of your life, of your very short life. And ultimately I think creation is and creativity, art is presence. It's beautiful creation, creations that we're engaging in the universe and God's universe. And I think that the more you tune into that way of seeing the world, you know, for what it is, then the more beauty you're open to on a day-to-day basis, the more open your heart is. And so, yeah, that that's something anyway that Rick Rubin talked about, Tarantino talked about, that I really just, um, I've been finding on myself on my own the past month or so, really emphasizing itself to me. Um, yeah, so I'll definitely bring that into your own work. And if you feel like you're facing resistance on your creative projects or a specific piece of work that you're doing right now, and you feel like there's some kind of resistance or some kind of trouble getting into something, then just look at it that way. Look at it with the lens of, is am I in the right frequency right now to be making this? And, what in my life what am I going through right now in my life that is supposed to be fueling this piece of art? And then maybe is there another piece of art that actually feels more accurate to make for the time that I'm in right now in my life? Is there something that feels more right? You have to notice where the universe is pushing you towards. Where's the universe giving you that push towards? And then go for that thing, because that's the thing that you're meant to work on right now. And once you can make that clear, once you make that target clear, then boom, then you got your target. Then you can the rest is obvious. Then you just do it. Then you just work on it. Then you just write down the ideas. Then you just write the lyrics. You write the song. You produce the song. And you write down the outline. You write the script. You make the script. You do the obvious thing, but you give yourself that target, that, the path of least resistance. And it's a different type of resistance, because we're always going to face resistance and obstacles. And it's not about avoiding obstacles, but it's about seeing where you're meant to go right now. Where's the path of least resistance? Where stop fighting the tide. Go with the tide. When you go with the tide, you become as powerful as the tide. And guess what? The tide is the most powerful thing ever in the world. It's fate. It's destiny. When you align yourself consciously with that, you become unstoppable. You become an unstoppable force. Um, and yeah, make that target clear for yourself. Give yourself those actions day to day to work on it. You become aligned with that. You become aligned with this artistic mission, this artistic journey that you're on. Nothing feels better than that. Um, yeah. Can the principles of scrapbooking be translated into visual storytelling to create more personal short films or videos? Oh, yeah. I've seen that before. I've seen that on YouTube many times. Many people create beautiful, like, poetic videos, poetic scrapbooks, essentially. Um, and yeah, I guess what I just talked about is almost like, yeah, your art is your art is a scrapbook of your life. Your art is a scrapbook of what you're going through right now in your life. Um, and yeah, leaning into that more. Um, I would say I did vlogs during my final weeks of college. I would say those are scrapbooks. 'Cause I really just wanted to enjoy those last few weeks, and I did. I enjoyed them so much. So many incredible sacred memories that I had those last few weeks of film school, and I knew I wanted to document and vlog those last few weeks because it was gonna be over. There's gonna be no more school, no more college after that, as far as I was aware, and still am aware. Um, and having those scrapbooks for myself, means so much more than just, um it's funny when I started vlogging, I was like, I think this is probably is not gonna be the best for my performance on my channel, but that wasn't really important to me. And I did see when I started posting those vlogs, my subs started dropping a lot. I was losing thousands and thousands of subscribers. But I wasn't bothered by it, honestly. I was not bothered by it. I was like, "They'll probably come back." But what's most important to me right now is actually just vlogging my final weeks and sharing it with the world and just having fun with it, because I don't wanna spend the last few weeks of my college making other types of videos. I was like, "This is what feels right now. This is what feels correct." And, man, I got so much enjoyment from that. So, yeah, I guess you could call those vlog scrapbooks of my college life, the ending of my college life. Free will part is really about figuring out the what in life, as long as you understand the why of life. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the free will part is almost like, how you wanna watch the movie, maybe? The movie of your life. How do you wanna watch it? With positivity or negativity or some combination of both? Or, where on the spectrum is that free will, I guess? I guess that's somewhat of a way you could look at it. Starseed brother, yo, Kurt, how you doing? What's up? What's up? Thank you for joining the stream, my brother. Oh, where you going? Peter's taking over. Peter's taking over. I'm gonna let Peter have his moment in the spotlight for few seconds. What are you up to, Peter? What you doing? You chilling? You chilling, baby? Finally able to watch in real time. Oh, Peter brought the chat all the way up. Let's see. To Photo Visions project question. I believe both scrapbook and film have the same principles of visual storytelling. Sometimes scrapbook don't have the structure. Yeah. Scrapbooking's very loose, right? That's how I imagine it, honestly. I think I would do a mixture of printing out photos for my camera roll and then also drawing images. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of my journal. This journal that I keep. This is my main journal where I just essentially the way I use this main journal is I just write down my intuitive impressions from the things I experience throughout the day. So the heading of one entry will be, right here on this page, right? Like Rick Rubin creativity. And then it's just all my intuitive impressions of that video that I watched, or of a conversation that I had. And that would be the heading: conversation with Dave from, physical therapy. My brother has physical therapy now in town, so I was with him, and then I saw a guy, Dave, and we talked a bit about the Beatles, about music, and then that happened for a reason. That conversation happened for a reason. It was meant to show me something. So then I journal about that. What was it? What was I meant to take away from that? For me, that felt like a push towards making my music and the inspirations that I think about. The inspirations that I have, um, and yeah, things along those lines. But that's the way I use that main journal. And yeah, I think I could transform this into a sort of scrapbook. David, I personally didn't gain much from the Steal Like an Artist books, but they were good to read. Everyone's different though, so you might help out a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out at some point because I really like the his other book, the Share Your Work. I thought that was great, and it was about something very important. And I would recommend. I don't talk about it too much, maybe not as much as I should, honestly. But if you're an artist and it feels right for you, you should make content. You should document your process. You should share your work. Like the author says, you should share your work. You should share your process. That's something I'm doing now more with my music. Those videos will likely be out towards the end of this year. Documenting my songwriting process because that's something that you guys have said you wanted to see. That's something that I tried to do with my filmmaking while I was in film school. And now it's going to be a little slower with my filmmaking because right now I'm in the writing stage. So that's not really going to happen until next year, probably next summer when I'm actually filming. Or at least right now the plan is to do so. But, God's plan obviously always prevails. So we'll see when the time of that exactly is. So yeah, documenting the film side is gonna be a little slower right now, more solitude, more just writing. But the music making is I'm pumping it out right now. Really going all in. So a lot of that documenting is happening right now. And I think you guys should document your process if that feels right, because it's super important for other artists to see, hey, I can do this too. I'm in my house, I have my resources. I can make things with what I have, I could do it. It doesn't just have to be the people whose art we watch or listen to. They're not the only artists in the world. We're all artists here, and we can all create. We can all inspire each other too. We'll learn things from other people, right? So, yo, JDO, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. How you doing, brother? Most this week be heading inducing, but really viewing the whole Jester franchise, thinking of the gameplay and design too. Nice, nice, nice. Gameplay. Do you want to turn this into a game? That'd be crazy. You know what? I was playing a lot of this week. I was hanging out with my brother a lot. I've been playing Resident Evil 4. Have you guys played Resident Evil 4? It's one of the best games ever. And I was playing Twilight Princess 2, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Um, Man, those are great games. That's awesome though, if you're designing a game. Kitty, yes. Yes, the cat, we're fostering right now. Peter is the name. It's really for my brother because he's back from the hospital. So you break a leg, you get a cat. That's how the family works. But yeah, that's he's an incredible cat. Actually, great, like social, calm, funny, very like just a great cat. Very, very great cat now. He's giving himself a shower behind the laptop. Keep journaling, yeah. Thank you very much. You as well. Journaling is awesome. Journaling is um I always say I think the best argument I could make for someone to start journaling is that uh in terms of ratio from effort to reward, you think about certain things, how much effort do I have to put into something, then how much reward do I get from that thing? Journaling, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Literally, I haven't experienced a physical activity that comes close to journaling in terms of effort to reward. Because effort, it is effortless. You just write. You write about anything. You don't have to try. You just write. You do stream of conscious writing where you just write. You could journal about your day. You could journal about this thing that you experienced. That's it. So the effort is zero. And then the reward is like infinity. It brings so much presence and awareness to your life. It calls you out on your own stuff. It is a mirror for yourself. It is a mirror for self improvement. It is a mirror for spiritual growth. It is a mirror for your creativity, for your art. So many things. So the ratio from effort to reward is just like unlike anything else. So you guys should all journal. And again, it doesn't have to be some kind of big hard thing in your mind, something of a lot of resistance. Just write, just write. And you'll find yourself writing more. And I've been journaling for 3 years now, 4 years, something like that. Um, and it's just uh now I have like a bunch of journals, a bunch of different journals for different reasons. Dream journal, mission journal, music journal, film journal, main journal, um, productivity journal, content journal, just a bunch of different things. Main journal is my favorite just because it's main things I experience throughout the day. The main journey, the main day-to-day journey that I'm on. So I love coming to this journal. It's just so therapeutic. It's so fun. It's genuinely fun. It's genuinely just like I have more fun, more wholesome, and more fun fulfillment from this than any other kind of consumption. Um, yeah, it's great. Message from the universe for you, Tommy. Take what applies, if anything. Stay detached from any negative energies and focus on clear thinking and truth. Trust your judgment on things. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll take that to heart. I'll write that down. I'll write that down in my journal. I'll actually write it down now. Peter's eyeing my journal. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was actually just journaling. Actually, my last entry before this, it's funny that I'm going to write this, detached, is about detachment. It's literally about detachment. The way I look at solitude is the power of solitude. And the reason why solitude builds discipline is because when you're by yourself and you're in solitude, you have this opportunity to tell yourself the truth, unfiltered truth, with no influences from other things, from other people or other images or other media. You get with yourself, you be still, you can close your eyes or just take a walk. You're with yourself, you're in your solitude, and you return to the truth. You return to the truth of what you know to be true, things about your life, your spiritual truths, your spiritual principles. And then you go out into the world and you go into the maze, and then your job is to not let this truth escape you, because you can become so peaceful in your own solitude, and then you go out into the world and something happens, someone does something, or something goes a certain way, and then it's a challenge to not become entangled with that thing. um and yeah, I just, because we were just talking about, right, like life is a memory, life is planned by God, and it's just these beautiful truths. And then we are tested in the world. Those truths are tested, and is a test to not forget those things. And yeah, just staying detached from those entanglements throughout the day, that can bring you down, bring your kind of vibration down. Um, and yeah, it's recognizing how the mind behaves and how the mind is programmed and relates to these different things, and making sure that doesn't get lost in that maze is a challenge. But it only makes your relationship to the truth stronger. Whatever's tested is ultimately made stronger. So that's the good part about it. That's the reason why it's there. Um, but yeah, so staying detached from any negative energies. Um, yeah, that's very important. That's why in the morning, at the beginning of the day, is a vital time of the day, right? Focus on clear thinking and truth. Love it. Love it, Kurt. Thank you. Hello, Peter. Um, I want the genius of gesture stories, the music, the death plot, and music to be a surprise. Ooh, wow, that is nice. Are you gonna make the music? Might generally make someone faint with how amazing it be. I'm excited. You're getting me hyped. I love that. That's so great. You need to have a lot of confidence and hype because this is the same exact way I look at my own art. I get very hyped on my own art. I get excited for how amazing it will be, and I think it's good. You got to hype yourself up. You got to hype yourself up to make the things that you love. Be your own biggest fan. You know, Tarantino says he makes his movies for himself, and everyone else is invited. I think that's hilarious. I think it's awesome. Um, that's great. There's nothing. Yeah, there's like I said, there's nothing like that. Being in tune with your own art and just making things that you like, and that's great. That's awesome. So you might be on the brink of completely significant chapter of completing a significant chapter, completing a goal, but something might be holding you back, causing uncertainty. The feeling is almost there. Rely on your clarity. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for that channeling. Thank you for that message. It's funny you say that. I do feel like it's funny when my brother was discharged from the hospital since I've gotten here, returned home. It has felt like a close to a chapter, for sure, based off of signs that I'm getting from God and certain things that I've been seeing. Um, so your message is accurate. Um, yeah. And I think right now, I think one of the things that is almost holding me back is and something this is what I brought up at the beginning of the stream. Something I've been focusing on this week is focusing on harnessing consciously my creative energy because that's been I feel like I've lost that the past few weeks just being at the hospital, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I've been focusing more on family, but now I think it's about getting that back and tapping more into that. And that's the sort of energy I see myself kind of going into now, placing more conscious awareness on that. So thank you. I appreciate that. The clarity's there. The clarity's there. Just about acting on it now, transitioning. Tend to document and preserve it in a Discord server with people that help me. Nice. JD, are you in our Discord? You in the Creative Warrior Discord? Pretty sure you are. You've been here since the beginning, bro. An intellect to bring situation to completion. Yep. Resident Evil 4 is so amazing. Did you play the remake or the original? I haven't played the original yet. Or I haven't played the remake yet. We were just playing the original. I've beaten that game countless times. I don't even know, probably 10 or 20 times. Probably closer to 20. And yeah, we were playing it this past week for the first time in years. Yeah, it's amazing. That game is one of the best games I've ever played. Resident Evil 4 remake or OG, also Gesture Stories reminds me of Jet Set Radio. What's Jet Set Radio? Glad your brother's back home. Thank you. Yes, he's very happy to be home. Funny you should say that after section, most of the gameplay is a mix of Sonic and Jet Set Radio with roller skating. Whoa. Really Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, also combat inspired by Sifu. Also got to get that game Bomb Rush too. 100% in your opinion about journaling, because as a journaling content creator, ooh, nice. Nice. We need more of that content on journaling. Some of my viewers don't get the gravity of the benefits. Some fall to the artsy type of journaling. Yeah, I mean, everyone's on their path, and some people start off certain ways for a reason, and then they end up in other places. So you just gotta trust the process, right? Um, but journaling is, oh man, yeah, it's multifaceted in that way. There's so many different routes to it. There's so many routes you can take with journaling, and I think that people will find their way in the ways that feel natural, the sort of segues or the introductions to certain worlds like that world of journaling. It'll all play out. It all plays out at the end of the day. Mesh from the universe, put memory photos printed out and tape it to your journal, then journal about that memory. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a collection of photos from my photo album of memories, and then once I feel right to print out, put it in my journal, tape it there on the page, and then write about what it's meant to show me. I like that a lot because that's essentially what this main journal is. It's like photos from my life and everyday life and seeing what they're meant to show me. I think that's beautiful. I think that's great. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do today. After the stream, I'm gonna get a collection of photos from my photo album. Yeah. Looks cool. You have great taste, JDL. Very great taste. Trust the taste. Creativity is limitless. I don't think you can have less or more creative juices. It is limitless. I agree. The energy I do see going down, but can always be regained. Yes, exactly. Can always be. When you're in and out of creative phases and creative blocks, you haven't lost your connection to creativity. It just might not be activated, but that's always within. And yeah, that connection can be reactivated, regained. But yeah, it's limitless, and that connection has been there since you were born, and it won't go away ever. Journaling is such of art itself, but fun intuition precedes all. Yeah, I think journaling brings out your intuition. I feel like journaling brings out the obvious things that you're meant to do or meant to see. Really, people appreciate journaling. Yeah, that's something that this community really bonds over, especially in the Discord. We talk about journaling a lot, a lot of journaling. That's from the universe for you, JD. Take what resonates, reconnect with your own sense of worth, and nurturing yourself, self-doubt, while stepping up to boldly pursue your ambitions. Balance your inner needs with outward action that will help you move forward effectively. Nice message. I love that. Yeah, balance. Yeah, I love that. The balance is as a skill, as a tough skill. Um, yeah, you should hop along on the Discord. It's on my Patreon. The first tier invites you into the Discord. The Patreon link is in the description of some of my YouTube videos. Yeah, we get new members frequently, and it's a great space where we kind of just talk about creativity, talk about what it means to be an artist, and talk about regular things too in life, and mental blocks, creative blocks, and whatnot. It's usually a very fun time. Not in the Discord. Oh, I thought you were in the stream where I gave the Discord link to people. It was one of the early streams, one of the first few streams. I was giving out the Discord for free because it was just starting out. The community was kind of just starting out, so I was just building. And whoever was there, I was just giving them the link. I thought you were there. Um, yeah. I want to talk about I want to go over the creative goal, check in with everyone, see how everyone's doing. But I just want to go over a few more points from the Rick Rubin interview that I watched that I think you guys will resonate with, and you guys, I think, will like some of these things, at least things that stood out to me, things that helped me and I resonated with. Well, this is great. He says that you have to sense when the time is right for a project. When you notice that everything that you throw at a certain project and never seems to come together, then pivot to another project or pivot to something else. Now, it's not the same as, something being hard, because something can be hard and something can be, um, like you're meant to overcome this obstacle, but you're just either lazy or scared. That's not the same thing. But it's more so you putting together a project, and it never seems to the other collaborator never seems to be available, or this thing just seems to never work, or it's out of your control. Then maybe now's not the time for that project, and don't force that thing. Maybe now's the time for something else or a new idea. And I just love that way of looking at it. And he says you have to look at where you're getting a push towards something else. Um, and then one of the other projects just seems to take off. Then you have to go with that one and just see what is the time for? Which project is it the time for? And that mindset I think is just great. And again, that the reason that why I think that mindset is important is because it assumes that there is a force guiding you. And I think there is a force guiding all of us. It is the spiritual force, it's connected to the soul, the creative spirit. And yeah, I think it's beautiful. And that's something that I really resonate with. And that's also something that I've experienced many times in my life, many, many times where there's a certain project that's just piece of art that I just intuitively I could even feel it from the beginning, like, "Ah, I don't know if this is right to be working on this right now, but let's just try and go for it." And then it would never work out. There'd be something out of my control, or the collaborator would never really do their part, or a certain circumstance would just not align. And then it was just a matter of seeing it, whether sooner or later, that now's not the time for this. Maybe later, but now's not the time. Um, and yeah, I would just love that mindset. I love it a lot. Um, I love this. This is something he said. I wouldn't change a word of it for someone else to like it. I wouldn't change a word of it for someone else to like it. It's a tough one because expectations and thoughts of what other people are going to think, or trying to cultivate something so that the world likes it, could be hard to let go of. But ultimately you do need to have that stark discipline to just make the thing that you love, make the thing that you like, the thing that feels right, regardless of how you think other people are going to experience it. And again, in consequence, I think that's the way you make the thing that draws the people who are meant to actually like it and enjoy it. So, yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. This one is great. Play your hand, embrace your part. It's your best chance. So this is about staying true to who you are and making the art that feels the most natural, owning your own artistic identity. The Strokes are the Strokes because of the Strokes. They're themselves. Michael Jackson was himself. Um, you know, Great artists that you look up to who you feel like they're channeling their creative spirit. Prince was himself. Um, the Beatles, they were themselves. They were playing their part. They were embracing their hand. You get dealt a hand of cards in life, and don't try to look over to someone else who's bleeding, or look over to someone else's card. Play your part. Play the thing that feels natural. Don't go outside of what you're being called to do out of fear because it's not what's popular right now, or not what's going to be liked by the world. No, 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 no. You got to play your part, your individual part. Play your hand of cards that you were dealt. The hand of cards that you're meant to play. Don't fall into fear. Don't fall into doubt. Don't stray away from that, because that's the thing that you're meant to cultivate in your artistic journey. I love that. I think about my own artistic identity specifically, with my films, but specifically through my music right now. I really feel my identity of my music coming together, and the things I care about seeping into the lyrics of my music, and the feeling and soundscapes of my music, the spiritual identity I feel being cultivated and adopted, and how I can't compare it specifically to any artist. I have certain inspirations, of course, certain artists I look up to, certain music, certain songs that feel inspirational for the music that I'm trying to make. But ultimately, the identity that I feel, the music identity I feel in my heart, and what I imagine, it feels like me. It doesn't feel like any other artist. It feels like me. And yeah, you have to play your hand, and trust that what you see and feel inside, and don't try and be someone else. Be yourself. What do you like? What do you imagine your art looking like, and feeling like, and sounding like, and the ideas in your art, and the ideas about the world that are going to be in your art? Trust that. That's you. That's the way that you see life. That's the way you feel about life. And that should be your art. And that's it. You don't need another reason. You don't need another excuse. You don't need another logical explanation. That's enough. Now go do it. Now go make your art based off of those feelings. All right. You don't need validation from any other source. You don't need any other kind of reference. Inspirations are beautiful things from the superconscious, and they're meant to impact you the way they're meant to impact you. But don't be beholden to them. Don't worship them, and don't place your whole identity around other things in the world. You know, you are yourself, and that's enough. And that is enough to be in your art. And ultimately, that's the best thing you can do for your art. That's how you're going to make the best work, because it's the best, it's the most real, it's the most authentic, it's the most, you know, It is who you are at the core, and that's what the world wants to see. That's what the world deserves to see, and you deserve to share your art with the rest of the world on an authentic level like that. So, yeah, that's something that he brought up in his interview, and I resonate so much. It's the way I see my work, my art, and the way I specifically see my music identity coming together right now. And then let me see. I have a few other things on here. I'll bring up one more thing. Or a couple things. Okay, this was awesome. This was great, and I thought this was very telling. And you know, it's funny. I kind of predicted his answer before he gave it. I kind of knew what he was gonna say. Um, so the interview, Lewis something. The interviewer he asked Rick Rubin. He said, "What would be your advice to your 40-year-old self? You know, yourself from decades ago, with all the projects and everything that you're doing." Rick Rubin said, "Just have as much fun as possible. Because you have as much fun as possible. Just you know, you can be a workaholic and you can maybe it can be hard to find the fun, but you have to find the fun. You have to have as much fun as possible. And again, with life being a memory, just everything's play, everything, just have fun with everything. And that's how you access really great things." And I had a feeling he was gonna say something similar to that. And honestly, I would I could imagine my future self, and I do feel like my future self would give myself that advice, you know, my future self 20, 30 years from now looking at me, like, "Oh my gosh, 22 years old, you're a baby, dude. You got your whole life ahead of you. Have as much fun as possible." Hell yeah. That's the type of advice that I would totally imagine my older self giving myself. I think that's a lot of the advice that our future selves would give ourselves. At least that's what I feel deep down inside to be true. Um, and again, yeah, just have fun with it. Like it's everything's temporary, so enjoy it while it's here. And also, when you have as much fun, you get the most creative, and you imagine anything is possible, and you're so much more engaged with the work, and then you can get so many more ideas for the work itself. Um, yeah, and then this was the last thing I kind of wrote down. Um, if you come up making a certain kind of music and you get popular making that music, there's a feeling of, oh, well, this is all anybody wants me for. Um, so even though I don't care about it anymore, I just have to keep doing it. But that's a disaster because then you worship this thing that doesn't feel right anymore, that you don't love. So always feel free to pivot, you know. Something that personally I can speak on is my YouTube channel. You know, my most popular video, how to you need to romanticize your process. I love that video. And I love that style. But right now I feel my content, I'm gonna make a few more videos similar to the content I've been making for the past year or so. But after the next month or so, something I feel intuitively, I feel a shift in the type of content I'm gonna be making. Still about creativity and artistry, but um, more. Well, you guys will see. But I'm cooking up some things right now. More poetic kind of form, more loose, more raw, more spiritual. Um, really, really taking away some kind of confines from the YouTube video structure. Um, but yeah, so but anyway, those are just that's kind of specifically how I was resonated with that idea. But never feel like you have to stick to something. If it's always about doing what feels right. That's why I always say it's always about doing what feels right. Doesn't matter what that is or what that looks like or what kind of rule you're breaking. If you do that, it's just whatever feels right, you know? Um, yeah, that's there's a lot of great things that I really resonated with. Um, but yeah, it was a great interview, great video to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And I've watched some of his other videos and interviews. I'm gonna watch some more. Cause yeah, and I'm gonna read his book eventually when I get his book. Um, yeah. Can't wait to start my brand and be able to support financially. You do important work. Oh man, thank you, Kurt. No worries about me. You should we're all the support that you've given me is more than money could buy. So never have any doubts on that front. Um, I appreciate all of the support that all of the community gives me because it helps me with the work that I do. And this is the long game. I'm in this for the long game, and there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more things to do, and it gets me very excited when I think about the future work. Um, Also, what's more important is staying present here right now and embracing the things that are here right now. Um, Rick Rubin, the goat, yeah, he's great. He's really great. Something else. Funny you mentioned that because I've diverted what I'm doing to something else. Listen to the guidance. Need to start ASAP. My other project was too large. Need to save for later. Yeah, whatever kind of pivot feels right, for sure. Hello, how you doing? Love your videos. Hello, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the words. I appreciate the fact that you resonate with the content. Just doing something smaller to get my foot in the door. Thanks for the message from the universe. Hey. If that's the thing that feels like the right pivot, then make that. That's what we were talking about last week, right? With our creative goals. Take credits only if you resonate with them, but if you don't see it as a problem or just don't want to change anything, do not. Bingo. And that's not arrogant. That is staying true to yourself, despite what the world tells you. I struggle to create videos for YouTube because I did too much Reels, TikToks. I feel like my brain is doomed and can't focus for long-form content. Any advice? Well, awareness is always the first step. And I feel like maybe look at your journey as something that is a piece of art on its own. Why were you meant to go through whatever you went through? Why were you meant to maybe make the videos that you made before? Um, and yeah, it's important to recognize certain programs that are placed on you through certain experiences. So whatever you learned from making the short form reels or TikToks, you can get out of that. But like I said, awareness is the first step. So the fact that you can see that is really good. And I think that you need to, you got to ask yourself, why are you making content? Because the why is very important. If you're making content on things that you genuinely care about, that you feel like are important things to put out into the world, then that's going to help you fuel your mission and fuel your desire and actions to want to make better content and make content that feels right. Um, but oh yeah, Peter just went to the litter box. But yeah, it's I mean, man, brain rot is definitely a term for a reason. I think we can all suffer from that, and it's a very real thing that we all need to be conscious about. That's what we were talking. We're having a lot of conversations about that stuff in the streams before. I don't know if you were there in those streams, but yeah, easing off of that. I would say definitely be very aware of how much time you're spending on the internet, or if you have a device addiction, like many of us do. Putting the phone down, spend time in silence and solitude, actually doing these things, like actually putting these things into action. Um, or else, you're not going to see anything, nothing's going to change. But yeah, so actually do that and take space from it. And think about what you care about. What do you want to create? What do you want to do? What kind of work do you want to put out into the world? Andrew Huberman has this great thing that he talked about once on a podcast where he said, you can be a consumer or you can be a creator. Um, every day you can choose. Do you want to be consumer or creator? If you wake up and then you pick up your phone, you scroll and you keep scrolling, then you have chosen to be a consumer for then and maybe for the rest of the day. If you decide to keep your phone away or decide to stay off of social media, stay off of that world and focus on yourself and what you're creating, then you're a creator. And then you bring your life that's disconnected from the social media world, then you bring it to where you broadcast your content and you bring it there for a certain period of time where you post, when you have to post, and then that's it. And then you leave behind. You don't do much else on the space. Um, and yeah, I think being a creator, being a consumer, you got to be aware, how much are you doing of both? Because I think it's not that consuming or consumption is bad. When we can consume pieces of art, consume music, consume art, consume films, consume whatever. But I think it's sort of like when you go on the extreme end, and I think right now humanity is on the extreme end of consumption and lacking the creativity. That's why we need to push the balance the other way. So I think creativity is important. Why we all need to do it. And you know, over and I think even consuming art in the right manner, consuming music, consuming film is a sort of creation itself as well, because you're almost co-creating certain thoughts and feelings and emotions and ideas with the universe when you're experiencing, like when I'm watching a film and I'm really just I'm letting my soul take in that film, and I'm not just watching it mindlessly, not just putting on a movie just to fill in the noise or just because I'm, you know, I'm bored or I'm trying to avoid something. But really, when I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch this movie, because I feel called to, because I want to, and it feels right. Then I just notice my soul experiencing that film, and I get so many ideas, and I think about things about my life, and and the emotions are so much. There's so much more depth to them. I think that that form of consumption is also a form of creation in its own manner, in a sort of in a cool way. Um, so yeah, just look at your own life. You know, how are you a consumer, creator? How much are you doing of both? And again, that space, and all those things. Again, like it's not really about finding the right trick or hack. It's just about implementing the things that you know you already have to do. Um, but yeah, don't think that your brain is doomed forever. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. So if you think that way, then you'll just stay there. But you know, the mind is an incredible thing. The mind is so powerful. And that's why it can hurt a lot when the mind is intoxicated and you allow it to stay there. Um, the only reason it can hurt that much and you feel that loss is because of how great the glory is on the other side when you use the mind in the right way, and how powerful it is in the right way, and how much it serves you and how great it elevates you when you align the mind with the soul and takes off in that way. Um, Definitely channeling. He said in an interview his songs handed to him from the ether. Yeah, the way Michael Jackson described songwriting as like you have to imagine if as if the song was already written and you're just receiving it, you know? That's the way I look at my own art, and I think it's great, and I think it's true too. Time being an illusion. You know, we're not creating something, we're receiving something. Billie Jean was one of those. Yeah, yeah, all of them. Oh my gosh. So cautious about inspiration because genuinely I want my pieces to be diverse from others, yet so resonating for myself. It's a certain vision. If I'm inspired, I will tweak in an aspect of what I like to truly make it mine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the more you lean into what you like, the more you lean into what feels right, that's gonna achieve that unique creative vision. And you don't have to intentionally seek out what makes something unique, but you seek out what feels right, and the byproduct and the consequence, the result of that is something unique. Looking forward to see your world successful film and everything until that moment, Tommy. Thank you, Kurt. I'm I'm very excited for the films that I will make and the films that get put out into the world, and happy with the short films that I've done so far in film school and my time as a filmmaker so far. And I'm excited for the big changes ahead and the bigger projects that I'm taking on right now. Makes a lot of sense. JJ Difficult is a balance. Yeah. Ultimately, the many things you love get mishmashed with the way you view the world to create something that is uniquely you. Kind of predicts some of what you say too. Really shows that we're connected in the Christ spirit. All connected, baby. That's why we're on the stream together. Are you having fun with your work? A psyche mind melt moment from the end of week 5. Yes, 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 yes. That was awesome. That was amazing. That was great. That was it's meant to be. I mean, you can't make that up. It's just like that's all it is. And that message is for both of us to have fun with the work. We're living the process right now. Have a blast. Have a blast. Exactly. We're living right now in it. I wonder if you've ever read Clarissa Piccola. No, let me write her. Clarissa Pincola Estes. Let me write her thing down. I'll look into her. I think you'd like her work. I always love when I get recommendations. So I also know what he's going to say next before he says it. Just the advice we need to hear. That's awesome. That is incredible. I'm leaning towards the poetry. Big part of my brand is also mysteriousness. It's very alien themed. Nice. I love alien imagery and poetry. So I need to find a balance between giving too much and keeping things a secret. Yeah, that's always something I struggle with when talking about my own art, especially my films, like Dear Julian or the film that I'm working on right now that I'm writing. It's like I want you guys in on the process, but also like I know a lot of you guys are gonna watch the movie once it's out, so it's also a matter of like keep the thing secret, especially when I vlog the filming of it, the vlog the making. It's gonna be like, you know, how much do I show? How much do I give? I don't know. With your care, the pocket journal video felt like a walk in nature before hitting the finale in your sparkle beauty backyard. Haha. That's so funny. Yep. Sparkle beauty backyard. It is a really nice backyard. Appreciate that. I love that it feels like a walk in nature. That's really nice. That's really, really cool. Um, I definitely take that to heart. Felt like a movie, little short film, but also message. Wow. Wow, very nice. That's cool. I appreciate that you say that, JDL. Thank you. I I definitely want my videos to become more cinematic. Because I just it's all about finding your style, your content style. I'm still finding mine. That's why I said like I intuitively feel a certain shift in my artistic, stylistic direction with my content. Um, but yeah, it's taking on shape. Everything that I'm making is inspiring what is to come for sure. I do have an Insta addiction. Yeah. Remember, the algorithms are created to keep you addicted, to keep you on the device. And we have to activate the prefrontal cortex. We have to activate our willpower in order to get off and stay off. And it's not an easy thing to do. Um, like even I'll say, remember a few weeks ago when we made that challenge and we talked about that in the workshop, to get off the phone more, and that was the week that kind of kickstarted my easing off my own use of mindless consumption. I was doing I've been doing great for the past few weeks. The past few days, I noticed myself actually like on Instagram, then I would scroll, and then after like 5 minutes or so or 10 minutes, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, wait, I'm scrolling," and I go off, and you don't. Sometimes you don't. You're not even aware of it. But the important thing is when the awareness comes up. The dangerous thing is not listening to that awareness because it's one thing to scroll and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm scrolling," and you get off right away. But it's another thing to scroll and then be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm scrolling." Okay, and then just keep scrolling. That's a really dangerous part. Um, yeah, it's, because then you're feeding that wolf that then you're really feeding that wolf that just keeps scrolling, as opposed to the wolf that's telling you that you're scrolling, and the part that's aware. Yo, Imogen, how you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. You're gonna give beautiful films to the world. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Xema, hey! Hello, hello, hello. Haha, it's so funny. Examina, are you guys related? Are you guys connected? What is this team? What is this underground team? Hi, I'm from Mexico. Hello to Mexico. Thank you for joining the stream. Much love to Mexico. Surprised to see you not outside. Yeah. Honestly, I could have gone outside. That's actually a good point. I don't know why I had this stream here. I'll go outside for the next stream. Yeah. I remember you did say that you wanted to give more space for the viewer to digest and think versus constant talking. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like that's part of the reason why. That's definitely part of the reason. Definitely. I vibe with that massively too. Artistic silence, a concept I think I made up. I love it. Artistic silence. Love it, love it, love it. Either silence to see the visuals or just for silence for the viewer to process or characters too. Use silence in unique ways. Use silence. Silence connects you with yourself. And silence is so important in a world where we are disconnected from ourselves and where we see the truth and power out there somewhere to attain, but it's really somewhere already in here that we merely have to access, that we've forgotten how to access. Submitted my short story to a contest. Won't hear back till February. My daughter submitted a callback for a huge project. I haven't heard anything, so I'm not sure if we landed this one. Whoa. Well, hey, I would say never do things for outcomes. Always do things that feel right because they're going to trigger something, you know, within you that you're meant to be. It's going to influence the way that it's meant to influence you. Um, and so it's already worked out in your favor. It's already panned out the way that your soul wants it to pan out. So let that give you peace, and you can let the rest go. And you don't have to depend or worry about something that is to come. Just do what feels right, and it'll lead you to where you're meant to go. Love you for that. You're making great moves, Imogen, and you're inspiring me, and you're inspiring all of us. And I love that you are doing things that are good for yourself and things that are going to push you. And I think all of us need to implement action as artists. We need to implement action. We need to put ourselves out there, and we need to act on the things that we know we should have been acting on maybe since a while ago. Um, it's never too late. Never too late. Ever, ever, ever. So submit that story to the contest. Finish that film. Finish that song. Put that song out into the world. Work on that project. Do the thing. Just do the thing. I just want to sit and fantasize with the fairies. You can hey, if the fantasizing is the doing, if it also includes the doing, then fantasize all day long. Let's fantasize all of our lives. Let's just fantasize. Fantasy is our life, which includes all of its parts. I was mostly hopeful to meet the director. She's from Mexico. Hmm. Wow. 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 Mexico. Maybe we'll make a movie in Mexico. Hey, you never know how connections and relationships pan out. That's exactly what I was saying, but with, like, relationships, you just don't know when the time is right for something specific, with a specific person or, you know, you just don't know. You don't know. Pago Severa, Sue Director, Haressa. I never heard of those directors, but we are all our own directors of our own lives. We direct how we want the movie to pan out. In a weird way, because it's already written. Maybe the movie, our life is already written, but we get to decide how we want to direct it. Maybe that's what it is. M83's fantasy album. I haven't heard of that one. I don't think I have. A lot of beautiful songs like Hurry Up or Dreaming. Great album title, by the way. Oh. Like, okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Hurry Up or Dreaming is an incredible album. Incredible album. Absolutely amazing. Infinite parallel universes for our lives are there for the choosing. Yep. You wake up and make decisions, you go to sleep. You wake up in a new universe, you make decisions, you go to sleep. Wake up in a new universe, and boom, you decide which frequency, which timeline you want to channel into. I want to ask you guys if there's anything you guys want to bring up with the creative project, any kind of discussion you want to open up, or anything you guys need advice or something that we can talk about. Um, I brought up a lot of things. These are things that, since I've been thinking about creativity, harnessing creative energy this past week with my project, that's why I kind of brought up the Rick Rubin stuff on creativity that I think you guys could resonate with for this workshop. Because I think that, tuning into spiritual truths, creative truths can be helpful to kind of orient our work and where we're at with everything. And the other thing I was going to bring up, and this kind of my own creative project for this workshop for this week, at least, was just something that I resonated with something that Rick Rubin said that I resonated with as it applies to my own work, my own creative weekly goals. Is that I think that something I'm going to change right now is I'm going to focus on one song at a time, because I've been setting my own goals with my two songs the past few weeks. But now that my In the Morning song is in its mastering stage, I'm just gonna focus on finishing the mastering and then work on the other song. 'Cause focusing on 2 songs at once, I think is a bit like almost like multitasking. That's what it feels like at least as an artist. And Rick Rubin said that, it's when the time is right, then you move into something. And I think that the time and there's been some kind of resistance and the time not feeling right with my movie song because I've also been working on my In the Morning song. I know the titles it can get confusing. This is just for myself mainly, but the basic idea is that as I complete one song, I will allow my creative energy and momentum to move into the next as opposed to trying to distribute this creative energy into both songs at the same time. I don't feel like it's been really helpful. And that's something that I'm kind of coming together. I'm kind of coming, I'm coming to learn and know on my own pacing with my music journey that is still very young. Um, Second single going to be out soon. In the Morning. It's gonna be epic. I'm filming the music video next week because this week was very, very cold outside. Um, Next week is gonna be a bit of warmer days, definitely the last warm days of the year because now it's gonna get pretty rough. I live in New Jersey, so winter's pretty brutal here. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm at with my creative project. But if you guys have any things you want to bring up before the end of the stream that we can check in with, I hope that you guys resonated with these creative truths and ideas that I resonated with and I kind of expanded on with Rick Rubin's video. Um, Life is just choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure. The divine holds space for all. Indeed. Yeah, we figure out what we're gonna do in our life movie. We plan, but the best force or whatever you call it will guide you in the best time way possible. Yes, exactly. Hold on to that faith. Like I think that truth and seeing that idea is one thing, but it's you take it a step further when you implement that into problems and conflicts that you face. Remembering that this conflict that I'm facing, it's already resolved. It brings you that peace in the day that you need, It really does. Yes, please share. Settings in my stories I want to either create as reality or a museum and maybe host storytelling panels, clubs. Whoa, that's cool. Where are you going to host the storytelling panels and clubs? Eventually, it'd be cool if we make this in person somehow, because in person is the real stream, if you know what I mean. You know, the future is soon. My own empire from will. Mwahahahaha. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Goal this week is to focus on filming and reading and absorbing new info. Nice. Very nice. Love it. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. My goal this week is going to be between this week and next week. Is first finishing the mastering for In the Morning because the mixing is all done. So now I just have to master and export. First, finish that. Film my music video. And then I plan to film the music video Tuesday or Wednesday. And then after that, with a few days before the end of the week, then pivot back to my movie song, fix the melody, start some lyrics. But I don't want to mesh the two like I have been trying to force the past few weeks because it hasn't felt right. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to focus on one song at a time, finish In the Morning, then move on to the next one. That's going to be my goal. Goal for this week, more breaks and silence, connect all these plots and write narration, dialogue for the story. Nice. Beautiful. Love it. More breaks and silence. And honestly, even if it's like 10 minutes a day of silence, just getting quiet. Again, it's doing nothing. Sometimes the best thing you could do is nothing at all. Message from the universe for you, Imogen. Take it if it resonates to you at the moment. Focus on your own abilities to achieve what you want rather than waiting for approval from others. Focus on skill development. Focus on your strengths. Love it. I love it, Kurt. Kurt, I love these channeled messages. It's a great thing for the stream. If you could do that for anyone who wants them, because you're great at giving these channeled messages, and I think people would really benefit. People are benefiting. I wrote it down in my journal. I think people would really love these messages and take them to heart, especially the type of people who are in the stream now. So thank you for that, Kurt. Really appreciate that. Appreciate the love and the energy and the time and care. Can join it offline, but I'd love to hear news if you go there bigger. Going where? Are you talking to me? How many languages do you speak? Me? Just one fluently, English, but I did speak. Well, I could speak Spanish and Portuguese fairly well, enough to get around. Um, but I'm always better when I'm actually in the country itself. I'm in when I was in Peru in 2018. I was speaking Spanish, I would say pretty fluently. And I've lost most of it, but again, I can speak enough. I can speak enough to get around. Dialogue is fun. Goal for this week is finesse. Finish all my job before I resign. Still journaling free time. Whoa. Resign. Wow, wow, wow. You coming out of a job? Wishing you the best of luck with whatever transition you're going through. It's all working for your highest. It's all working for your highest good. So have faith and love it. 100 Kurt. English, Espanol, French, and question marks. I used to speak French too, pretty okay. Using tarot cards, hopefully that's okay. The cards jump out, nice. So I ask for what they need to hear for the highest good. Ask the spirit guides. Beautiful. Any channeled messages, very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Kurt. I read tarot, Kurt. I read tarot too, Kurt. Nice, nice, nice. I used to read tarot. I used to. It's been a while. If you have offline workshop, I can't join, but I love if you have an offline event there, and then go bigger. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The offline, I don't know. I don't know how that would look. I would need to conceptualize more on that. But definitely, I mean, that would be a goal for something in the future. But these streams are gonna be going for. I have no plans to stop these streams anytime soon. These are yeah, again, I always say I'm in the long run for it. So I'm excited for whatever is the fate of these streams. We have a beautiful community here. Tarot spookingly clarifying on our current situations, isn't it? It is. It is. It definitely is. When I used to do tarot readings, they were scaringly accurate. Thank you, you two, and people here. Good luck for all life stage transitions. Stay healthy. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining the stream. I don't know if I've seen you on here before. I don't think I have, but thank you very much for your presence and all your words, and they mean a lot. Please join the other streams, and so we can have more fun, have great conversations, and help each other, and remind ourselves of the mission, remind ourselves to do the things that we should do. Indeed, you like runes? No, don't use runes. Haha, are they accurate runes? I never heard of runes. Interesting. First time here, but watch your videos. Nice. Beautiful. Love it. Well, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being a part of this incredible community. Thank you for joining the stream. And guys, I think that will just about wrap up our stream. We went on for almost 2 hours. Pretty good, if I will say myself. Music is the experience of mine, the difficult most art form ever. Never get the flow of making catchy tune. Yeah, music is it's funny, I never really did songwriting until I just hit this one day. I was like, I want to be a songwriter. And I had this vision of me being a songwriter. And then I just was hit with so many ideas and melodies, and I just started recording them in my voice memos for weeks. And then that was the momentum that I needed. That was years ago. But now I've found myself in this stage of actualizing the songs and actually making the music. So that's fun. Yeah. For now, I can get most of the style, but the bass is complex. Bass. There's nothing like a good bass line. Nothing like good bass line. Bass line doesn't have to be complex to be good, but yeah, just gotta feel it out, just like everything else. Oh, nice. I'll follow you on Instagram as well, Imogen. Billie Jean baseline. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much for spending time. Time is time is the most important thing. Time gives us the opportunity in life to love, to make memories, to create art, to do everything that we will ever do in this lifetime. That's why life is very short. Because at the end of our life, we want to spend more time just enjoying and loving those around us and experiencing love, good healthy love, and yeah, it is very short, and it comes down, the way that you spend each day is the way that you are spending your life and your time. So spend it very wisely and do the things that you have to do. Work on your projects, do the work, um, play, spend time to play, love yourself, love your family, and embrace each day for the circumstances that you find yourself in as you wake up. Embrace it for what it is. Make the most of it. Because this is it. It's just going to be like this on repeat for the rest of our lives. Just things are going to change, things are going to take shape. But it all starts with here, how we view and see everything. So again, take the most of it, make the most of it, and keep an open heart. Love, love deeply and greatly, or else your life will flash you by. All right, guys. Thank you very much, Kurt. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate all of you guys in the stream. Always love these streams. Always an incredible time. And thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for spending time with me. All right, guys. I'll see you very, very soon. God bless. Dream on. And peace out.